Hello everyone. Today I'll be giving you an overview of ISO ISC 17025-2017, the International Standard for Testing and Calibration Laboratory. So this is the first in a series of videos where I'll be diving deep into this crucial standard. In this video, we'll cover the fundamentals, what it is, why it matters, and its key components. In upcoming videos, I'll break down each section in detail and show you exactly how to implement them in your laboratory. So let's get started with this overview. So what is this ISO 17025? So the full form goes like that: International Organization for Standardization / International Electrotechnical Commission, ISO 17025-2017. So it's titled General Requirement for the Competence of Testing and Calibration Laboratory. So this is the title for this, and its main international standard that laboratories use to demonstrate they operate competently and they generate valid result. So this current version was published in 2017 that replaced the 2005 edition. So this revision brought significant changes, making the standard more flexible and aligned with modern laboratory practices and quality management principles. Now, who needs this standard? So any laboratory performing testing, calibration or sampling activities. So these three people, laboratory, they need this certification. So this includes chemical labs, biological labs, calibration facilities, medical testing facilities and forensic laboratories. If you're a laboratory wanting to be accredited or recognized internationally, ISO 17025 is your benchmark. So let me explain why this ISO 17025 standard matters. So first, it provides international recognition. An ISO 17025 accredited laboratories results are accepted across borders, eliminating the need for retesting and saving time and money. Second, it demonstrates technical competence. Accreditation shows that your laboratory has the necessary equipment, qualified personnel, and validated methods to produce reliable results. Third, it builds customer confidence. When clients sees ISO 17025 accreditation, they trust your results without any question. And finally, it improves laboratory operations. The standards requirements naturally lead to better quality control, fewer errors, and more efficient process. So let's talk about the structure of the standard. Now the 2017 version has two main sections. Section 1 covers the general requirement including scope, terms and definition, while section 2 is where the meat of the standard lives, covering the structural and resource requirements. Let me break down the key clauses, and remember, I'll be creating dedicated videos for each of these clauses. So clause 4, it addresses general requirement. It emphasizes on partiality and confidentiality. So laboratories must be independent and protect client information. In clause 5, it covers structural requirements. So your laboratory needs to define legal entity, clear organizational structure and documented scope of activities. Clause number 6, it talks about resource requirement. So this includes personal competence, facilities and environmental conditions, equipment, metrological traceability and externally provided products and services. Essentially, you need qualified staff, appropriate equipment, controlled environment and traceable measurement standards. In clause number 7, it focuses on process requirement, the actual work you do. So this covers reviews of request and contracts, method selection and validation, sampling, handling of test items, technical records, evaluation of measurement of uncertainty, and ensuring the result validity. And the last clause, that is clause 8, it deals with the management system requirement, which can align with the ISO 9001 if you're already familiar with that standard. So don't worry if this seems overwhelming. Each of these clauses will get its own detailed video where I will walk you through the practical implementation steps. So now let's talk about the changes from 2005 version. Now in 2017 revision brought several important changes worth noting. So first, there's greater flexibility in management systems. The standard now allows laboratories to choose between option A, following ISO 17025's management requirements only, or option B, that is adopting 9001 alongside with 17025. So this gives laboratories more choices. The second change is an increased emphasis on risk-based thinking rather than prospective preventive action requirements. Laboratory must now identify and address risk and opportunities. Third change is that the standard places stronger focus on impartiality. Laboratories must identify, evaluate and manage threats to impartiality continuously. Now fourth is the IT system and data integrity receive more attention, reflecting our digital age. So laboratories must ensure their information systems are validated, secured and maintained. So don't worry, I'll be dedicating an entire video to comparing the 2005 and 2017 version for those of you transitioning from the older standard. Now let's talk about the implementation challenges and tips. So let me briefly touch on common implementation challenges. Topics I'll explore in much greater depth in my implementation series. So first one is documenting everything adequately. It can be very overwhelming. The standard requires comprehensive documentation of procedures, records, technical activities. Second one is measurement uncertainty calculation. It confuses many laboratories. This is a complex topic that deserves its own detailed discussion. Third is maintaining competence records for all personnel. It can be very burdensome. Fourth is equipment calibration and maintenance programs. It requires discipline and organization. And the last one is internal audit and management reviews. It often becomes checkbox exercise rather than valuable improvement tools. So in my upcoming implementation videos, I'll give you step-by-step guidance, templates and practical examples to how to overcome each of these challenges. You'll learn exactly how to build your quality management system from the ground up so that you're ready for the NABL audit. While many pursue ISO 17025 for accreditation, the benefits go much deeper. You'll see operational improvements through standardized procedures that reduce variability and errors. Your laboratory becomes more efficient. Market competitiveness improves dramatically. Many clients and regulatories require ISO 17025 accreditation, so you'll qualify for contracts you don't access before. Staff competence increases because the standard requires ongoing training and competence evaluation. Now this develops your team professionally. Risk management becomes embedded in your operation, helping you identify and prevent problems before they can even occur. And perhaps More importantly, you build a culture of quality where everyone understands their role in producing the reliable results. So to wrap this up, ISO IC 17025-2017 is the gold standard for laboratory competence. Today we have covered the overview, like what it is, why it matters, and its main components. So in my next video, I'll dive into the practical implementation process. I'll show you the step-by-step approach to implementing ISO 17025 from gap analysis to accreditation. After that, we'll tackle each clause individually with real-world examples, templates, and actionable strategies where you can apply immediately in your laboratory. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos in this comprehensive series. Whether you're just starting your ISO 17025 journey or looking to improve your existing system, this series will give you everything you need. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we will discuss the implementation strategies. So if you have any questions regarding this video, please do drop it in the comment section. Thank you.